How's it going, hey Kevin? Happy Tuesday.
What's happening, Garrett?
Not too much. How's the week going for you?
It goes. How about you?
Awesome. Um, well, I think we're talking about AR and AP today and working with cash flow and tying invoices to AR to AP. So should we jump in there and get started?
Yeah. So today's is going to be a little bit different than what we typically talk about with AR and AP. We're actually going to be looking at it more at the project level. So you'll see under the financial section, there's two new modules. One is called billings, which is obviously all of your AR invoices, and then another one called payables, which is all of your AP invoices. So the first thing I'll mention is while these are new releases, they are not turned on by default because we don't know who you would want to have access to it. So if you like what you see today and you would like us to turn these tools on for you, feel free to reach out to Garrett after the call and he can get it set up for your account.
Yep, we'd
Yeah,
love to help.
yep. So we'll start with the billings. Billings has a lot of good information that exists elsewhere on the platform, but it's kind of brought into one place here for the project. So what you'll see up at the top is your projected final contract amount, billed amount, earned revenue, over under billing, and then percent billed. And then we have two charts underneath it, both which give really good information in terms of how the project is progressing when it comes to AR and billing. So this first one here, I think this is one of the most underrated things that project managers should be looking at when analyzing their projects. It's what is the average days to pay it takes the client to pay. So you can see on this project, it's about 47 days. We can see the actual days to pay for each invoice. And then this red line kind of indicates what our average is. So pretty quickly we can kind of tell, what things are for payment. We can see there was one all the way back in December that took them over 100 days to pay. So gives really good insight into or towards how's your client in terms of paying invoices? Are they on time? Do they kind of fall behind sometimes? Are they pretty consistent? Just so you can get a sense of when those payments are going to come in.
As a former PM, do you have a rule of thumb of, hey, this is kind of getting to the red area, or is that probably 90 days plus?
Yeah, I mean it's if it's 90 days plus, it's definitely deep in the red area. I mean, I know back in my PM days, if anything was over 30 days, that's when I would start kind of reaching out to the client to see what's going on with payment. Obviously it's going to vary a lot by client, it's going to vary a lot by project. I think we all like to think we can get paid in 30 days. I think we all know the reality is that doesn't always happen, but one thing that's always really good is if you kind of are armed with this information here, it gives you really good leverage to go back to the client and say, hey, let's say on average they've been paying in 47 days and you have an invoice that's been sent out there for 55 days. You can say, hey, what's going on? Typically we've been seeing payment in about 45 days. Why is this one sitting out there longer? So that's like a really good way to kind of, it gives you more ammunition when you're going to the clients is to kind of know exactly what those days to pay are. And then the chart to the right here, so this is a breakdown of what you've actually invoiced month over month. So the green represents what you've actually collected. The blue is kind of what's outstanding in retainage. And then the gray is kind of what is still outstanding in general. So it's a really good way to kind of just visually see, okay, what have we actually billed month over month? How are we doing collecting? How much is still sitting out there in retainage? So just a really good quick visual to kind of understand what your monthly billings look like. And then
Very
down below the chart here, so this actually shows you all of the invoices for the project. So you can see they're sorted in reverse chronological order by default. So we've got application one all the way through nine. You can see how quickly that they were paid or if it's still aging, what the current aging status is, what the invoice date is, the due date, projected payment date, invoice amount, outstanding amount. So this projected payment date, you can go in here and update it real quickly on the fly. So you say, hey, I talked to my client. I don't think I'm going to get paid until August 1st now. You can go in and update it. And what you can also see here is you can see any of the AP invoices that you've linked to this AR invoice. So if I expand this here, what it's actually going to show me is all of the invoices that are kind of wrapped up in that AR invoice. So I can see what the invoice amount is for each of those. And then since it's linked, you'll see the projected payment date for each of those individual invoices is 7 days after the projected payment date for that AR invoice. So really good way to say, okay, I know that, hey, I've got $415,000 outstanding on this invoice, but once I receive payment for that, I know I've got to pay out these subcontractors within the next week afterwards. So good way to kind of keep track of what's actually kind of tied to that AR receivable.
I like it, nice and easy. Just because I know it might come up, do we have any plans on perhaps converting this into a workspace like the whip and forecast?
Yeah, definitely. So that's something that as we kind of work to build out more functionality here, we'll add additional columns, KPIs, visuals. So that's definitely something to stay tuned for and look out more for. The other thing that's going to be coming down the pipeline is all of this is based on invoice data that exists in your accounting system today. We know a lot of contractors obviously have a whole payout workflow that exists before the data gets into the accounting system. So something that we're working on and we'll be releasing in Q3 and Q4 is functionality to allow you to basically set up your schedule of values in ProNovos and submit pay apps and then tie them to the corresponding AR invoices. Okay, so switching to the payables now. So again, this is all project level data. So up at the top, you can see what your outstanding amount is, retention, new invoices, and cash paid. And then you can use these different selectors here if you want to see, hey, what's kind of the invoices that we've received in this year, this quarter, this month on the project, and same thing with the cash received. And then down below that, we've got two charts, kind of similar on the billing side. The first chart is what's basically a breakdown of your outstanding AP. So it's showing you who do you owe the most money to, and then it's color coded based on whether they're a subcontractor or a vendor. So really good way to kind of understand, okay, do I have a lot sitting out with one vendor? Maybe it's worth calling them up, negotiating specific payment terms kind of for the aggregate amount outstanding rather than each individual invoice. So good way to kind of just get insight into who you owe money to. And then the AP aging and retention. So this will let you know how much aging or how much each of the invoices are aging, what's in retention for each of your subs. And this is probably what you want to see on the AP side. I mean, I think we always want to see kind of the opposite of what we see on AR. You basically want to be kind of taking as long as reasonable to basically pay out your vendors and subcontractors within reason. Obviously, you don't want to be hanging them out to dry, but if they're willing to wait longer to receive payment, it's obviously in your best interest from a cash flow standpoint to push out those payments as long as possible.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then down below, this is where you can see all of the actual invoices for the vendors and subcontractors. You can see we broke it out into two separate tabs. You've got your vendors on one tab and your subcontractors on another. It shows you the invoice number, aging status, invoice date, due date, projected payment date. And here's where you can actually link it to those AR invoices. So if I click on this here and say, hey, I'm basically going to pay this one when I when I receive payment for application 9. If I do that there, it's now linked and you can see that projected payment date updated accordingly. So again, really easy to kind of make sure that you're not going to be paying any of your subcontractors or your vendors until you receive payment that invoice is kind of baked into. So that is it kind of on the AP side. One other thing you'll see on some of these invoices here is this Quickpay approved. So this is a new offering we have for our general contractor clients. Basically what it is we partner with you to basically off early payment to your subcontractors. So your subcontractors would be able to request immediate payment on any outstanding invoices. Typically that payment is facilitated by us within a 24 to 48-hour period. And then in doing so, your subcontractors would accept a small discount on that invoice. We work with you to kind of determine what that discount is. Usually it's anywhere between 1.5% and 3%. So if this is something you're interested in, if if you're a general contractor and you're working with your subs and they have a real difficult time kind of managing their cash flow and they're constantly kind of reaching out to you about payment status, we find this is a really good program to kind of offer that as an option to your subcontractors. It's totally opt-in, so it's not something they have to do. And it's a good way to kind of offer them flexibility to make sure that, hey, they're not having to threaten to pull off job sites or anything like that. They can keep kind of their crews on the site, things move in, and they're staying cash flow positive. So this Quickpay offering, it's something new that we're starting to roll out. Like I said, right now we're only offering it to general contractors. But if it is something you're interested in, um, feel free to pat or tag Garrett after the call here, and we can kind of give you some more information on what that program looks like.
Yeah, it sounds good. We'd love to discuss it more.
Yeah. Anything on the billings or payables I may have glossed over, Garrett? Thinks we're diving in a little more.
No, I mean, it looks super user friendly, especially linking the invoices, just clicking over on the right. So, I think we did a good job of, drill down the bars and, making it super user friendly there. So, but as always, if there's any suggestions on how you guys maybe could better utilize it or something you want to add, just let us know. And, as we continue to develop it out, we'll certainly take that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, these are two brand new tools, and whenever anything's new, we'd love to hear feedback. I mean, we always love to hear feedback, but especially when something's new, we love to get people's insight on it. So, like I mentioned, these aren't turned on by default because we didn't necessarily want to turn it on for people that shouldn't have it turned on. So, if it is something you're interested in, reach out to Garrett, and he can get it set up for you in your account to access it. And then, yeah, any feedback you have on information you'd want to see, either related to project billings or payables, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I already got a few requests, so that's good to hear. People, hopefully they dive right in there.
There we go. Well, I know we got a couple minutes left, Garrett, but I've touched on everything that I was planning on going over today, so we can open it up to questions or any kind of feedback. And if nobody has anything, we can wrap up a few minutes early here.
Yeah, it sounds good. Give it a minute. And there was one question in there, but I kind of handled that, so we'll discuss
Nice.
through email.
I see one question here. Will invoice detail, i.e. invoice posted in ERP, sync to ProNovos and show on the details pop out? So yes, you can update notes to be added to the AR Excel export with the invoice into. You can add notes to any of your AR, just like you can in the AR collection. So if you click in here, you'll see the area where you can add any comments. We're actually looking into adding the notes to the Excel export. It's not something we have available today, but it is something we are looking into. And then on the invoice details, um, basically it is synced once it is posted in the accounting system. So all of the invoice details you see are the invoice number, invoice date, due date, invoice amount, outstanding amount, retention amount, all that's coming from the accounting system. Another example, if there's additional invoice details you would like to see from the accounting system that we're not showing reflected here, we would love to get your feedback on that.
Let's see, got one more in
Please let me know if there's a
there.
ProNovos Basics webinar available. Yeah, we can definitely follow up and send you some links. Also, if you go to the ProNovos website, under the resources tab under videos, is a history of all of the webinars we've ever released before. So there's a lot of good content there, but we can definitely follow up with some of the more um, uh, high level kind of the ins and outs of ProNovos overview. All right. Well, I think we're coming up on time, Garrett, so we can probably call it.
That sounds good. Thanks everyone for your time today, and we will see you in 2 weeks for I believe we're talking about revenue forecasting.
Very cool.
So yeah, and please reach out if you have any suggestions on how to make those two tools we discussed better, and as well as getting access to it. So I'll be around today.
Thanks, Garrett.
Yep, thanks for your time, all. Have a good day.